Okay, first try, yet again. Alright. Despite how I look, and despite my probably red eyes, um, week 5 was nice. Um, Possibility, definitely a through line of my week. I did 1, 2, 3 tasks this week. Really, really cool. I did all of my morning pages this week, and I really enjoy them. They feel like diary entries to me. I love them. And there have been a couple of times when I kind of like, I'll most of the time go throughout my day and be like, ooh, I can write about this tomorrow on my morning pages. And then before I start my morning pages at the top, I'll just write like a list of things to write about. And then throughout my entry, I'll just like check or like strike them out. And I feel like sometimes, sometimes I won't have like enough from the list, and I'll have more space, and I'll be like, so this happened yesterday, and then like I'll find my stride again. Sometimes it just takes time, which is cool. I did my artist date this week earlier than I ever have. I did it on a Tuesday. I meditated for like 20 minutes. I think it was like a 20-minute thing. And it was like a YouTube guided meditation, and it was called Stillness with God, and it had to do with like breathing. And I was just thinking about God's possibilities for me, and kind of how sometimes I feel like my biggest dreams, or like my plan A's, or like what I really want to happen, are God's like lowest for me. He's like, that's what you want? Girl, if you don't get up, like that's like, okay, please, you know what I mean? I did my artist date this week. I don't think I've been hearing answers during my leisure time, but that's cool nonetheless. It felt really nice to do some meditation, and I thought that it was like the perfect time. I did my artist date at the perfect time too, because I had just had a career strategy meeting, or a career consultation with my friend, and then I got like something really cool out of it, and I felt the possibilities in my mind, and like just like I felt the possibilities in my mind just like grow. You know how people are like, lower your expectations so that when things don't go your way, you're not disappointed? In my life, things haven't gone my way a lot, and so I've been fighting not to lower my expectations, but I feel like my expectations are just widening. Like widening my expectations to where like what I want could come from anywhere. Not necessarily lowering them to where like it's like I'm not going to get anything I want. I feel like it's just that like a form of what I want is going to happen, and I feel like I'm having to like, when I catch myself wanting a specific thing, for example, let's just say I wanted to be starting my MFA in acting program this fall at NYU. Let's just say that. And that's not happening right now, obviously. But now I'm like, I want to study abroad for my MFA and acting degree. And at first I was looking at LAMDA, and I was getting ready to look at RADA. But then I was like, wait a minute. I'm not going to limit or lower my expectations to say, oh, Lambda can't happen for me, or ROTA can't happen. I'm not going to lower them. I'm going to widen them. I want to study abroad for my master's in acting degree. I want to study abroad. I do not want to study in the United States of America. Low key, I don't want to study in North America. I ain't got no problem with Canada. Mexico I'll do. But, you know what I'm saying? Just like North America in general, I'm just trying to go. Low key, Europe is where I'm trying to go. I want to study abroad for my master's in acting somewhere in Europe. Okay? Me personally, if I had the choice, I would choose London. London is my first choice. Say what you want. You know, call it what you will. Fate, destiny, a horse. That's a movie line, by the way. Sorry. I want to study in London for my master's in acting degree. In like a 2-year program, and I just want it to be just like perfect. And by perfect, I mean just like really perfect for me. Just a place that fits me artistically and morally, and just like, just fits in my puzzle pieces. You know what I mean? Just like puzzle pieces. I just want us to fit. But then I'm like, okay, let's just widen our expectations. The program could be anywhere in Europe, and I'd be happy. Not gonna lie, the program could be in Singapore. I'd be over the moon. It could be in Australia. And I'm packing my bags, okay? Like, you know what I mean? And am I leaning and rocking with Europe and London? Yes. Do I want London? Yes. Do I want my own apartment with no roommates? Yes. Does my apartment have to be in London? No. I can take the train. You know what I'm saying? There are ways that I feel like I could, you know. But yeah, just widening my expectations is what I've been feeling, and therefore widening the possibilities of what my life can look like. And I feel like that is working and helping me with disappointments where like what I wanted have not come to pass. And it's like, okay, now I have to get over this kind of like disappointment. Because I had another disappointing moment this week where I didn't get a call back for something that I really wanted. And I was like, okay. All good. At some point, I might play that part somewhere else at a different theater. Did I want to do it at this theater? Yes. Do I think I'd be good at it? Yes. You know, yeah. Because you give me a script and I'll read it down. Anyways, that's not the point. Point is, it's just like, hey, it didn't happen. And instead of me, and I wrote about this in one of my morning pages, when something doesn't happen the way I want it to, disappointment kind of like hits me in my chest. I can't really like feel it. It doesn't like hurt me in my heart or anything. But like, let's just say that like if there was like a physical representation of my disappointment, it would be in the Incredibles movie when Mr. Incredible is hit by those like black sticky things that was like getting up all up on him, right? You know what y'all know what I'm talking about. That's what disappointment is. When a disappointment comes, it's like one of those hits me. Now, it kind of changes because it doesn't like grow all over me, because disappointment that can be a perfect representation of disappointment because it can grow all over you and encompass you. But what I feel like what I'm doing right now is like it'll hit me, and instead of freaking out and trying to scrape it off and trying to just like freaking yank it off of me, I'ma chill. I'ma chill. I'ma pray. And I'm just gonna let it. And when I pray, and when I literally just keep moving forward in my life and just be like, okay, that didn't go my way. I wanted it, but it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Ooh. I'm gonna let it, after I do that, and maybe get a Delento Southern butter pecan little thing ice cream. I'm gonna let it go. And so then it's gonna roll off of me, and that's just gonna be it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take the day and be like, ouch. Oh, it hit me. Hit me. You know what I'm saying? Make me lose my breath a little bit. Hello. And that's just gonna be it. And I feel like that's gonna be something that I'm gonna have in my back pocket. I'm not gonna keep expecting disappointment because, my God, this is getting quite exhausting. But I'm gonna move forward because I have to. Because if I did that every time I was disappointed, like if I let each disappointment encompass me, I'd be the shell of the person that I am. And I can't do that to myself. And I won't do that to myself. I haven't done a very adventurous artist date yet. But maybe since I'm at home, I'll do that. I'll figure something out. Something adventurous. Okay. I'll try to get something this week. There's a lot on my mind. I was very distracted when I got on here doing this. I'm not in Spring Green anymore. I'm not in Wisconsin anymore. I'm back home in Memphis. And it's gonna get just a little, I have to get acclimated to being back home. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah. It wasn't difficult to leave today. I got a little bit emotional at the airport. My friend dropped me off, and when she was saying bye, I started to cry because, oh my God, I love her. Probably a little too much, if I'm being quite honest. And then, this is how I roll, I guess. And then, okay, walked in the doors, got my bags checked. Both of them were underweight. Let's go. Let's go. And then I got upstairs, got everything, and was sitting at the gate. Got a little bit emotional, but that's about it. You know what I mean? I wasn't crying as much as I thought that I would when I was leaving. Because I can be quite emotional when saying goodbye. But I was okay today. And then when I got home, I was just a little frustrated because okay, I'm back home. And I'm happy to be back home, but I'm kind of frustrated to be back home, but giving myself grace. Everything's going to be fine. Did I experience any synchronicity this week? Y'all? So about that career consultation that I had, right? I had it with the same friend that dropped me off at the airport. And so she's like, not guys. She's like, Alexa, what do you want to talk about? So I tell her about my plans for grad school. And I was like, well, if I don't like what's happening in 2026, if I'm not booking the way that I want to, then I'm going to just apply to grad school in 2026. I mean, in 2027, for the fall of 2027, right? So she talks to me about YRTA, which is like the United Residency Theater Association. YRTA. Hold on. Is the I said United University Resident Theater Association. And basically, it's like you audition for all these different, what's it called? Master's programs and conservatories. Excuse me. And you can do it for like design and acting or whatever. Obviously, I do it for acting. So she's like, well, I'm going to look at the dates for 2026, and I think you should just audition to audition. And if it's in February, then like, okay, take the year, do it in early 2027. Just like have time to get ready for it. Tell me why she looks at the dates and goes, oh my gosh, it's in January, you should do it. I said, wait a minute. Okay. You know, like that was just like, oh. The switch up was hilarious. Which, you know, I mentioned it to her later. I was like, you were like, February was too soon. But then you saw January and was like, you should do it. And I was like, okay. And then she's like, oh my gosh, you should do it right now. In January. And I was like, okay. She was like, you should apply. She was like, oh my gosh, I love this for you, you know. And then we started looking at the schools that will be recruiting. And I started to see all these schools in London. In Edinburgh. Okay. You know, all these schools in Europe. And I said, right. And like a couple days before, I had just been like, ooh, I really want to study in Europe. You know, like, I don't know if I said this in my last week's check-in, but at Thanksgiving, one of the dinners that I went to, one of the ladies that I talked to, Hannah, she, when I said that I was thinking about studying for my master's abroad in London, she was like, do it. Like, she was like, do it. If I could have applied for the program at her house that night, she probably would have pulled up her computer and be like, do it right now. Do it right now. Like, she was like gung-ho for the talent show. Ready for me. She was like, do it. If I could do it again, I really want to do it again. And I think I might do it again. Like, she was like, do it. And I was talking to Laura and Dee Dee Batiste. I had talked about this. I know I talked about Laura and Dee Dee, speaking to them about it in my last check-in for week 4. But I was like, okay, I had just been talking about this. And now this opportunity to audition for all these schools pops up. Like, okay. And then I told my friend about it that I was on the meeting with. And I was like, this is synchronicity, and I'm in week 5 of The Artist Way, and like, I feel like this is an opportunity that I shouldn't say no to. So financially, if I can make it happen, then I will. Yeah. Were there any other issues this week that you consider significant? There weren't any issues. None that I can remember. I mean, no. I think just looking back, this week, like the virtue trap was something that was talked about, and how like people will agree to do things that will push down their inner artist for the betterment of others, for the comfort of others. That came up this week. One of the ladies at my church called me and was like, hey, the people at your church right now, they said that they want to change your script for the Christmas cantata skit, and they want to say it in their own words. I said, okay. And then she was like talking about all these different changes that she said that she wanted to make that would make it better because, you know, the people at my church aren't professional actors and all just different reasons. And so when she called me at first, I was like, okay, yeah, make the changes. Then I was sitting on it. And I remembered reading. I remembered reading for week 5, not settling to appear good for the comfort of others and letting my inner artist suffer for it, because it was suffering on that call. And called her back and I said, you know what? Actually, take my name off. Since everybody want to put it in their own words, we're going to change the story. We're going to take my name off. We're going to take away the things that were going to make it mine. We're going to change the title. We're going to take my name off. We're going to strip it down and make it simple. And last but not least, if you haven't gotten the idea by now, we're going to take my name off. Because I'm not. Because it's not mine anymore. So I'm not going to let you put my name on it. First of all, something that's not mine, but also something that people are just going to put in their own words. That just didn't seem right with me. So I called her back and I was like, you know what? Y'all can have it. Y'all can have it. And I feel a lot better about it. Because I'm not going to do that to myself artistically. Let people ruin what I have in my mind. And I'm going to write, the full 1 act whole thing. Because this is that was 15 minutes skit. I'm going to write out the whole 1 hour, 1 act play. And have a reading for it somewhere. Probably in Chicago or something. You know, I'm going to do something with it. It might not be done at a church. But it'll be done. There will be a reading for it. And then at some point in the future, if I want to put it up somewhere, then I might just put it, why not? In 10 years, 7 years, something that's just does anybody have a Christmas plate? I'll be like, oh, I have a Christmas plate in my back pocket. Sure. You know what I mean? But yeah. Yeah. Because one thing I'm not going to do is have my name on something that's not mine and is not being taken seriously to the extent that I want it to be taken. And there are a lot of hoops I have to jump through, people I have to go through to get. I said, you know what? And I'm not used to that. I'm going to be honest. And I don't want to get used to it. And maybe that makes me stubborn. Maybe that makes me I don't know. But I just don't want to have to go through all that to do something that's so simple. A 15-minute skit. Yeah. So it's going to be nice. I'm still going to put my 2 cents in because the lady that called me and usually does everything at the church, she was like, yeah, I want you to still give us what you think and I'm gonna do that. But it's not really mine anymore. I was like, it can be called a group effort. She was like, okay. I said, perfect. I said, you want my 2 cents? Baby, move over a foot. Perfect. That's literally all you're getting. And that's all they really need. They don't need nothing else. Something else is just going to be complicated and We don't need complication. We need simple, elegant, modern. Another movie line. And if you know where that's from, we can be friends. But yeah, I'm excited. Next week is week 6. After this, I'm halfway done. This is crazy. This is wild. Yeah. Not gonna lie, I feel like at some point I was kind of hoping and thinking that I would have like an Angels in America, like angel comes down from heaven and is like the angel of creativity comes to me in the middle of the night and be like, this is your creativity talking to you. You know, like a experience, you know, that kind of experience. But I feel like this is just like, you know, just like my daily affirmation says. Wait. Through the use of a few simple tools, my creativity will flourish. Wait, hold on. Nope. That's not the right one. Oh. As we open our creative channel to the Creator, many gentle but powerful changes are to be expected. So I feel like these are the many gentle but powerful changes that are expected, that are happening. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's it. And I'm really excited to see what Doechii got in her video, because I think her video was like 27 minutes too. And I was like, yeah, because I love when they're long. I love when Doechii's videos are long, because I'm like, yes, though. I want to see what you're talking about, babe. Yeah, love her down. But, yeah, this is my video for week 5. I love you guys. And hopefully when I make my week 6 video, I look way better than I do right now. I see myself in the future. And I look much better than I do right now. Bye, guys.